Hi there, Pre-AP9. This is what happened on Monday, the 20th of October. There's a Google Form entry task in Google Classroom. We're going to look at some cleaning up things. So go in and let me know which essay it is that you're going to plan on doing, prompt 1, 2, or 3. And I'm going to skip through this. Well, no, I'll go ahead and do this. So in Google Classroom, I have double clarified your narrative assignment. Let me show you where it is. Go into Google Classroom. Pick whichever class is yours. Today I'm picking 6th. Go to classwork. You'll see this end of unit summative essays. Here's a plan your narrative. Here's submit the final narrative. Let's look first at the submitting your final narrative. I want you to notice the due date for this assignment is October 29th at 11:59 p.m. Okay, you're going to submit it right here. Please make sure you've read the rubric, evaluated yourself, have completed the planning documents, and had a reliable person edit your essay. Here is the rubric. You'll notice that there are 7 categories and 7 rankings. So 7 times 7 is 49. The total for this part of the rubric is 49 points, but you'll also notice that the actual essay is worth 60. You get 11 points for meeting the due date. That is an either on or off. You either get them or you don't, because you either submit it on time or you don't. So the highest you'll get if you submit your essay after the deadline is a B. So you want to make sure it's really good. So there's that. Narrative, October 29th before 11:59. Now let's talk about planning your narrative. Again, the rubric is in here. I introduced you to this planning document the other day. You're more than welcome to use this one and this one. I created this one this weekend. This one's crafting your narrative step-by-step guide. First, figure out which prompt you're doing, highlight it. This is just definitions of understanding the elements of a narrative, things you need to know. You can read that. Brainstorming your ideas. Choose your protagonist. Who's your main character? Describe them in a few sentences. What do they want? What challenges do they face? Define the setting. Where does your story take place? Describe the location and the time period. Identify the conflict. What is a conflict? What are the problems that challenge your protagonist? Write a couple of sentences to explain that. And then think about how the problem will be resolved and write down your ideas of how your story is going to end. Creating an outline. You can organize them along the plotline diagram, the setting, and the introduction things in the beginning. You find out, introduce your characters, etc. Climax is the most exciting part of the story, so you might want to graph some things on there. So taking a look at that, you're going to start your draft. Start with a hook. Grab your reader's attention, draft your hook right there. Develop your characters. Please use descriptive language. Write a clear description of your protagonist here. Write some things he or she will say, do, think, wear, or that show others' reactions to him or her. This is going to bring your character to life. There's a video link in here if you have any questions about what any of those definitions or if you need extra ideas. You're going to be required to have at least 3 pieces of figurative language. There's a sensory detail video and a figurative language video link. 3 sentences. You're going to draft those here that use sensory words, similes, metaphors, personification, hyperboles, etc. And here are some basic definitions of some of the figurative language examples. You will be required to include 5 pieces of dialogue. Make sure they're formatted correctly. Here are some examples of some dialogue that is properly formatted. Here's where you're going to write your 5 pieces of dialogue. At the end, you're going to try to make sure you're checking your spelling and punctuation. At the end, we'll be revising, editing, submitting, etc., but don't worry about that. You have a copy of this document as well as the other, but you'll notice that one of these documents, whichever one you choose, is going to be 50 points. So let's look at those instructions so you can see it. So the planning of this is just as important as the writing. Here's the 50 points for whichever or the number of documents that you have here. Half and half, one of each. There you go. The second thing we did today. So we talked about the narrative when it's due. A little bit of cleanup here. Remember that I do make videos every day to help. If you need help, ask, but try to have seen the video before. Maybe ask a friend for help. I'm here to help you if you need it, but time your request so that I'll be able to help you. Now, the other thing we did was to find your Cornell notes for the Socratic Seminar and Costas Level of Questioning. The date was 10/10/25. I even gave you the essential question. The part that I'm actually grading is the summary, so please make sure you've completed the summary and submit it and hand it in, or it's going to be graded as a 0. You can always hand it back in and try again, but the summary is what I'm grading. All right, last thing we did today was to go into Skyward, make note of any errors that you see or things that you need to complete. Email me if the error is mine, and please try to be polite and specific. Example, please go to the digital version of Chapter 2 of Mice and Men assignment and update my grade. If the issue is yours, find the paper, redo, update the assignment, and remind me to look for your corrected version. If you're done with this, you need to have read Chapter 3 of Mice and Men and start working on planning your narrative. We're going to be spending 2 to 3 days working on your narrative and migrating on. So, reading Chapter 3 will be on you probably. Please notice also that I have put in a audio version in here for Chapter 3. It takes about 43 minutes to go through. It's right there, to go through this chapter. All right. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you tomorrow.